was being read, so I apologize. But yes, Mayor, we have, there's been a slew of activity as recently as just a couple hours ago. And let me work a little bit backwards. I was in contact with the North American Development Bank, as the city of San Luis has been a recipient of their grants before. You know that the state of Sonora through the SIDUR and the municipality of San Luis Rio Colorado submitted a request for a technical assistance grant for $150,000 to pay for all the design studies, cost-benefit analysis that are required for the investment on the Mexican side. We're expecting a response letter from NADBank, hopefully before the end of next week. And they already gave me a heads up that it's not a no, but it's not a yes. So I think it's going to be more questions related to that. But importantly, as you know, this is one of the issues that has been holding up the investment on the Mexican side. It's the studies that the Mexican Department of Transportation, or SCT, is requiring. So that literally was the last 2 or 3 hours that I was in contact with NADBank. But in broader terms, yes, Mayor, there's been a tremendous amount of activity. And more importantly, the funding for the full build out, or would be, I guess, phase 2 of the San Luis One Port of Entry, is included as part of the stimulus package, the Jobs Act that President Biden has submitted. And there's been a bit of a confusion because I got a couple of calls that the fiscal year budget proposal for fiscal year 22 came out and it only listed Calexico, and there was a lot of concern that Calexico was the only port of entry that was being requested for funding. But there are 2 funding packages. One is the federal budget, which includes Calexico, and then it's the stimulus package, which includes includes literally $3 billion that would pay for the vast majority of all the pending projects on the US-Mexico and the US-Canada border as well. We have confirmed with General Services Administration and Customs and Border Protection that San Luis One, the full balance of the construction funding, remains at the top of the list, with Calexico being included in the budget. That means in the stimulus package right now, I'm doing simple math here, because Calexico was listed number 1, and it's now part of a separate funding package. Now, San Luis One becomes the number 1 issue in the stimulus package. So we are quite confident, not only for San Luis, but funding for other Arizona projects. As you know, Mayor, you've been very supportive, you and the city, been very supportive of the projects in other border communities, and that would include funding for the Douglas 2-port solution. So we continue to advocate with our congressional offices. Special thanks go to Congressman Grijalva, Congressman Kirkpatrick, our Senators Sinema and Kelly, that have really stayed on the push for the funding for the full build out of San Luis One. So we remain very hopeful with regards to the funding. When Congress will actually take a vote, that is a totally different question, Mayor. We will stay on top of it. But if I may also take a couple of moments I wanted to mention a couple of additional things. One, I want to especially thank Vice Mayor Africa Luna Carrasco. At the last minute, she jumped in and testified before the Transportation Board. I think it was last Friday or 2 Fridays ago. Forgive me, the days are kind of blurring.
2 Fridays.
In which she testified specifically on the request for the improvements of Cesar Chavez Boulevard, and asking for ADOT and the Transportation Board to include that project into the 5-year plan. So thank you to the Vice Mayor, real trooper, jumping in at the last minute, but we got it done. And the final issue that I want to bring up is something that is very important to you, Mayor, and I know the members of council, is the lifting of the border crossing restrictions. Mayor, you drafted a letter that was sent to the president asking for those restrictions to be lifted. We were hopeful that was going to be lifted as of May 21st. Of course, it was extended, as you all know, to June 21st. Earlier today, a letter signed by 7 members of Congress was signed and sent to the president asking for a reassessment as to whether these restrictions could be lifted. So we have been in contact with literally from Otay Mesa to McAllen, Texas, and everyone we have talked to is supporting the lifting at a minimum the modification of these restrictions to start allowing travel back across the border for our Mexican visitors, which are so essential to our border economies. And the final thing that I want to mention, Mayor, June 10th, we're once again asking you and also Councilman Rosales, but as he's wearing the hat of the Greater Yuma Port Authority, chairman of the board of the Port Authority, June 10th is the next meeting, the next technical meeting of the U.S.-Mexico federal agencies pertaining to the Arizona-Sonora ports of entry. This is a continuation of the efforts that we started with the first technical meeting in February, followed up by the Binational Bridges and Border Crossings meeting that took place in April. And then later in April, we still did a briefing, or it might have been the first week in May. We did a briefing for Speaker of the House, Rusty Bowers. So we are continuing to push both on the technical side, the funding side for the Mexican studies, as well as the funding for the port of entry to complete the full build out. So with that, Mayor, I wanted to give just a quick wrap up of just a whole slew of activity, and happy to answer any questions you or members of council might have.
Thank you, Luis. I know your staff and yourself. I mean, I'll text you. I call you on Sunday at 10 o'clock at night, and you answer the phone. I really appreciate that. It's as you know, our border, it continues to have a lot of issues regarding traffic delays, delay of times because of restrictions. The whole situation, what happened 2 days ago, where over 50 people rushed the border, so it only complicates things. And I really appreciate you being on it, and I really appreciate what our senators are doing, and we're going to continue working. I'm going to go and open the floor for any questions from council. Any questions from council regarding Mr. Luis Ramirez, the services he provides the city?
Luis,
Is it on?
it's on. Echo. Luis, can you hear me?
I can hear my name being said. It's really hard to understand.
All right. That's my speed of speech. For the June 10th meetings, just go ahead and send me that calendar invite. Make sure I have the information. I don't think I've received it yet, unless it was sent out yesterday or today. So go ahead and send that out to me, please. And thank you for everything you do. And hopefully, with this new budget that comes out, we'll get the $94 million that we need.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And actually, you will be receiving the calendar invite directly from Consul General Laura Biederbach and the U.S. Consulate in Nogales.
Okay.
We've been working with her, so she's got the list, and we're making sure that both you and the mayor, as the two representatives of the San Luis community and the Greater Yuma area, are going to be included in that list. We've confirmed that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions, concerns?
Yes, Luis. Thank you for providing the services to this community. We've been working along for so many years, and I just want to thank, on behalf of this community, that it's very important for us, for everyone, that we get this fixed, on the border crossing issue and the delays, because our citizens, they've been suffering the consequences for so many years. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, Luis. How are you doing? This is Gloria Torres, and thank you so much for all you're doing regarding the port of entry, Luis. And hoping this year will be a good year. And that's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Luis. This is Councilmember Luis Cabrera. I just wanted to say thank you. In my short time, I've seen your emails and the hard work you do to get our funding for that Port 1. So thank you for that and advocating for our community. I agree with the rest of the council. We can see your hard work, and we definitely need it. So much needed project. So please continue pushing forward and keeping us advised like you do.
Mayor, may I?
Yes, please.
It's really hard to understand. My apologies.
No, that's no problem. Vice Mayor?
I was going to say the same. It's really hard to hear what is being said. But Luis, if you can hear me, thank you so much for everything you do for the city. I know you're constantly working and constantly looking for ways that we can try to solve or alleviate all the border issues we face on a daily basis. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, appreciate it. And like I said, thank you for presenting before the Transportation Board.
No, thank you. It's my pleasure. Anytime you need me, I'm there for you.
We
For
we
the
will be
city.
picking you up on that offer.
Yeah.
She just committed, okay? She just committed, okay? So,
So please put that on the record.
yeah, please.
Right? Yes, no, I'm here to serve my community, so anything that I can do to help and pitch in, let me know.
Of course, thank you so much.
Sounds good, Vice Mayor. Ponce, Mr. Ponce, are we okay?
Yeah, good evening, Luis. My kudos for you and Vice Mayor Carrasco. For you are putting a great efforts. I mean, to help us in our community. So thanks again to both of you.
Thank you, Ponce. So any objections to his approved budget, 55,000 per year? It used to be 100,000 before. We actually cut it several years back to 55. Because the reason why we cut it to 55 was because our port of entry was a number, I believe was number 17 when that occurred. And that occurred maybe 3 years ago. In a period of 3 years, we managed to raise it to the 5th and now #1 priority for CBP, for GSA. We are ready to go on Port of Entry 1. We're talking about 14, 16 lanes. And what's holding up the big issue right now is on the Mexican side, because we can actually do a complete modification, not only for people coming to us, but also going to Mexico. The delays in lines, it's obviously that that port of entry is too small for the number of people that live in both sides of the border. We have doubled its size in less than 9 years, and not to speak about San Diego, Corral, Sonora. So that port of entry needs to be modified. There's already a plan and set. All we need, I believe, it was going to cost them between 3 to 5 million. Compared to us, it's going to cost us over 240 million. They were having troubles finding funding for that study to justify the plans that have already been submitted to Mexico. So we are helping them get the funding for the study, which is 150,000. And so that's causing a lot of delays. There's elections going on at this point in time. It's almost like everything freezed. And the thing is, and that's unfortunate because we are depending on, if Mexico does not do their modifications, it completely revamps our plans in regards to having a complete port of entry. Because not only are we having issues with crossing over this side, but also the other side. So we did our part. So we're just waiting for Mexico to do their part. So Luis is very intricate in finding the right people, setting up the meetings for us to go and actually meet the people who are very influential in regards to the presidential budget. And I appreciate your hard work, Luis, and your staff is just amazing. So I really appreciate it. So it appears no objections to the 55,000.
Mayor, I just have a question. If Mexico were not to find the funding, is part of #2 a possibility? Where do we stand with that?
The U.S. government, GSA, does not want to do anything to do with Port of Entry 2 until we fix Port of Entry 1. And so Mexico is more interested in Port of Entry 2 than 1. That's the reason we were #5 before. That's the reason why it wasn't funded a year and a half ago, prior. Because Mexico was not willing to invest in Port of Entry 1, so U.S. said, we're not going to invest over 250, 240 million if you're not going to invest. So right now, at this point in time, as of this year, both sides were agreement that we were going to work on Port of Entry 1. We know the solution is Port of Entry 2. We know the solution is Port of Entry 2, but we cannot ignore Port of Entry 1. And
I agree.
Yeah, so been working on it for the past 7-8 years. And right now, our key is get Port of Entry 1. The minute it gets funded, the minute it starts, we start working on Port of Entry 2. In a Port of Entry 2, one of the requirements of the U.S. is asking for another bridge to be built. That's going to cost a couple more million for Mexico to do.
A bridge in Mexico?
For Mexico, sí. Entonces, so that's causing some delays. But we are working, we are pushing, and we have very good support in Mexico City. We have very good support from our local, the key thing is the local government here and the state government have to be on the same page. in Mexico, also in the United States. So right now, everyone's aligned, but we'll see what happens in the elections. Things might change.
Yeah, you're right, Mayor. We need to push on the Mexican government to commit,
Yeah, we can
It's
only do so much.
completely.
They're a foreign,
Completely,
they're a
not,
foreign
not,
country,
not,
but
not 50-50, no, they need to commit, completely, you know?
we've been saying that for the past 4 years.
Yeah,
And hopefully, we have the funding, so hopefully, within the next 2 years, we're gonna get a new port of entry. So, both ways.
well, we're doing our part so far.
Yeah, so we're gonna work on that one. Thank you, Luis. So I really appreciate it. So, there was no more questions or delays on this one. So gracias, Luis. We're gonna go with the.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Gracias a ti, Luis. Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation.
That is.
Evening, Mayor, members of council, Julie Engel here. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Julie. Can you hear him? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I hear you fine. It's the other council members that we can't hear very good, but luckily we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So as you recall, a few years ago, we talked about incremental increases to get us up to the per capita funding level. And so we've opted not to do it last year because we really didn't know what the dangers were going to be with COVID, and we just didn't know what the budget impacts were going to be. And so last year we remained at the same level. And this year we are requesting that incremental increase of 6,254. So the total funding would be 57,514. And the total per capita amount is, excuse me, just a minute. I had it and then I lost it. Where did it go? It is $63,763 is what the per capita funding amount will be once we get there. Doing it with the 6,254 by 2022. San Luis will be there. The 2022-23 budget, San Luis will be there.
Thank you, Julie. I just want to say that I know it's been hard, especially with the COVID. You've done everything basically via Zoom and basically, but we're starting up again and people are beginning to travel again. One of the key thing is we are a growing community, and with that we need jobs. We need to attract jobs, and I know we need to be competitive with other communities. We need to work together as Yuma County. And I know there's Yuma, there's Somerton, there's Welton, and we want to make sure that we are there. So we have our own economic development, but we also need the Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation to be part of it also. We need to be part because what affects Yuma County as a whole, it affects everyone. So keep up the good work. I know you've met with possible candidates, and I know San Luis has been finally on the on people's interest because we're so close to the port, and because of the renegotiation of the Mexico-Canada U.S. treaty, and so that makes a big difference. So thank you, and thank your staff. I really appreciate, Julie, what you guys do for us.
Well, and I have to commend your staff. They are such a joy to work with, and Tadeo and Jenny really bend over backwards when we do have projects. So they make San Luis look incredibly professional and ready for business.
Of course, always ready, Julie. Thank you.
Yeah,
Any questions,
thank
comments
you.
for Julie? No? Okay, good deal. So you're good to go. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have the Greater Port Authority in the amount of $50,000. I believe this is a contract we have, and we pay the same amount for how many years now?
20.
19? Oh, 20.
20 years.
Buna, the
20 years.
executive.
We maintain this, and we're seeing the fruits. We're seeing development. We're seeing growth, and basically all your lots are already sold. Matias, is that true? Buna, tell me, have you, I know you've separated lots and you develop, and have all been sold?
I Hi, good evening, Mayor, members of council. Una George, Executive Director for the Greater Yuma Port Authority. And as of right now, we're looking at about 9 million that's already broken ground with a combination of Spindle, Cooling, and Labrie properties. So looking at those fruits, we do have many interested parties, and then we're still working on the infrastructure and the development. I tell you what, when it comes to cost escalation, we've seen that firsthand. And then working along with GYEDC, as well as everybody, Tadeo, as well as Jenny, there at the city of San Luis. If we're gonna attract businesses, we need to make sure that we've got somewhere to place them. So with the economic development tool through the Port Authority, which was the Magrino Industrial Park, we are definitely seeing fruition. So I'm very excited for that.
Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate it for everything you do. Any questions, comments from council?
Just hopefully the cost will continue to go up and avoid additional cash calls to the city. We got to thank our partners that are part of this organization, City of Yuma, Cocopa Tribe, and also the county's been working very hard with Buna and with us in regards to what we need to do to finish the development. So.
I just want to comment also that a couple of years ago, we didn't, I actually was always questioning why we were paying $50,000, and over the past years, Yuma County, the city of Yuma, the Cocopa Nation, and the city of San Luis have been working hand in hand trying to promote businesses, especially in this area. So the key thing is employments. The key thing is let's bring jobs, those manufacturing jobs, to our area. We have the land, and so I mean, what else can we say? So it was a very good investment. It's a good investment for the city to continue being part of it, and it's been 20 years now, and we're seeing the fruit. So thank you, Buna. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for any comments or questions from council. No? No? Okay, perfect. So thank you, Buna.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go ahead with the Humane Society of Yuma. Do we have a representative? I know I just want to make sure that we do have Humane Society. We do get their services yearly, and before I believe we would pay double the amount before, and now that we have our own animal control, it's been less of an issue, but it's still an issue. I know the issue of cats is a big issue. Two residents actually stopped me yesterday and says we have a cat problem. Yuma County has a cat problem. And so we need to look exactly what can we do regarding the cats. I know right now there's a certain quota, and now I believe residents have to actually take the cats there, and they actually get charged for cats to be neutered. And so something we can look into. I know there's a quota, and I want to make sure that we're informed if that has changed. It hasn't changed, has it?
Chief, no, it has not.
No, it has not changed, Chief? Okay, good. So any comments, concerns regarding the Humane Society? No?
Mayor, may I?
Go for it, Vice Mayor.
Espérame, go ahead.
I saw that in the contract that was attached to the agenda, they're gonna use those $5,000 just for pets for our community. So do you guys know, are they gonna charge if they take them, or they're just gonna be treating the animals until those $5,000 are covered? Is that the plan? Or just the entire year,
No, that's
as
the way it
many
works.
pets they take?
It's based on the pets that they take yearly, and they'll adjust that. Possibly this year, there's been more than last year's. I know it's the vaccinations, they also do the chip placement, and more. It's probably one of the third biggest events we have, and we need to continue doing those. And so I think it's important we support that, and they're providing, hopefully in the future, we're going to be providing those services. But it gets expensive, and they offer those business, but there is a quota, sick quota they do. After that, the residents will pay.
Okay, yeah, I think it would be good for the community to know, because sometimes we're a little hesitant to take our dogs because of the price, but if they're aware that there's a contract with them through the city, I saw that all they have to do is take a proof of residence, and they can help them out, so.
So, yeah.
So Mayor, if I may add,
Yes, please.
To the council members' question, yes, this past fiscal year, we gave them 55,000. They're asking for a $5,000 increase for San Luis residents only, and that should, I don't want to speak for the Humane Society, but it should be for a free local clinic, the ones we host. However, they will continue to provide their services at a low cost to our community members.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, to your point as well, the vaccination clinics and the chip and all that they do, that's a great, event that we offer for the community. And, you know, the community doesn't have to go to Yuma or to Mexico. They can do it here in our city. So I think that's a big plus.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it. So no comments, concerns? So the Humane Society is a total of, 60,000. We're gonna go ahead with the PEP Youth Build. Jesse, welcome, de veras. One of the things that we always try to find is accountability to the different agencies we support. The PEP Youth Build has proven year after year the great service you provide. Not only do you provide volunteer hours, you construct, you help with construction, and you're always there. And the thing is, you teach a trade. So when your kids are done, they have a high school diploma. They have the expertise, and I am just impressed, Jesse, in what you do. I see some of your students around town working in construction or working in different areas, and they're very grateful for the PEP Youth Build program. It's something that proves by itself it's a great program, and I really appreciate your hard work, your tutors, your teachers. Great service, Jesse. I really appreciate that. Any questions or concerns from council regarding the PEP Youth Build?
No, just a comment. I was talking to Jesse a few minutes ago regarding the program and the kids, and he told me that they got more kids this year in the program, and it was very good for our kids. I mean, for get her high school diploma and help in your program. And thank you, Jesse, for all you done for those kids.
So looks good, Jesse. Appreciate it. Okay, so that was a total of let's see here, youth build,
$30,000.
Thank you.
Jesse, I do have a question, just because I see the sign every time I go downtown for the high school. Is that still coming to San Luis? The PEP Tech High School, or is this a different program?
Different program.
It's a different program?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Thank
it's
you.
coming.
I thought you guys were in collaboration.
Good. Thank you.
Estamos bien. Gracias, Jesse.
Thank you, and I'd like to say thank you very much for your support during all these years. And because we started this program in 2003,
Yeah.
so I come into San Luis and you open the
Doors.
door and then you support. So it's the reason that we will have more students involved into the program. Less tourist students from San Luis, Arizona, but if we receive a grant from Youth Build, we'll have more, like at 30 to 42.
Wow.
So this is part of the support, like to help more students in the community.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you very
Jesse.
much for your support.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Gracias.
Jesse. Keep up the good work, man.
Okay, so looks good. We're gonna go with the YMPO dues, which is, I believe, 13,400.
That is correct. Last year, we provided them with $81 less. They're requesting an estimated $81 increase this year.
Yeah, YMPO is one of those organizations that the city needs to be part of. YMPO is actually helps us with basically influence or putting priority, especially for the Cesar Chavez Boulevard expansion, the curve going to Los Alamos. We need to be there because the YMPO has a lot of weight in regards to that, but we cannot let that fix of the curve in Los Alamos not get fixed. So it's very important. The other issue is, I believe the YMPO is also looking at, I believe, County 24, 25th, 25 regarding an alternative to the F section. So that's also part of the YMPO also. So we are constantly looking for budget for money from the state, federal funding, but YMPO is an organization we need to be part of. They basically outline the importance of the different needs, traffic needs we have in our community. So, is this working? Hello? Okay. Okay. So I just want to say, Paul, are you on?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me okay?
Paul,
Sorry.
can you listen to me?
Good. Can you hear me?
Well, any questions for YMPO? Concerns? Very important committee. If not, we're going to go ahead and, there it goes. It's back on.
No.
It's back on. Thank you. So, Paul, are you on?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, finally we can hear you. I was just talking how important YMPO and being part of YMPO is, and I really appreciate what you guys do for our community as a whole. I know you have to deal with Yuma County as a whole, and thank you for putting priority to some of our projects that are much needed in our community. I wish we had all the funding for all the structural needs, the roads we need, but we're in the process, and I really appreciate what YMPO has done. I just want to say, Paul, thank you. You're doing a great job, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a little issue. The money that's shown on the list is not correct, I'm afraid. Currently, it's shown as $13,319. That was the original estimate. I'm afraid that's now gone down about $5,500.
So coming down or above?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'd love to take the credit for it, but in this particular case, as an agency, as part of the stimulus funds that we received from the Federal Highway, beg your pardon, in this case, the Federal Transit Administration, some of the money that came to us through the CARES Act, as it's known, came through at zero local match. And as a result, we've managed to save an awful lot of money for our member agencies by using as much of these funds as possible. So the confirmed amount for this current fiscal year has gone down from $13,319 to $7,917.26. And I think he's still listening in, but as far as I'm concerned, you may care to give Luis Ramirez some additional money because he really deserves it.
There we go, another agency advocating for another agency. Paul, thank you. And we will make those adjustments, and I really appreciate the hard work you guys do for us, and we're going to continue working with YMPO and making a difference, especially in Yuma County as a whole. Thank you. So
thank you, Matt.
So now we have a new number, which is 7,917. So we'll do the adjustment. So thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Now we're going to go with White Cat. The estimated amount approved budgeted for 2021 was $70,573. There has been an increase of 17,643 to 88,216.28 cents. To talk about White Cat, if there's a community that uses White Cat the most, is the city of San Luis. The city of San Luis, especially our students that go to AWC, use the White Cat. And throughout the pandemic, they were not charging. The White Cat was active, There's a lot of our residents that can't afford to pay $12 for taxi to go there and $12 come back. They use the YCAT. And it's one thing that when school season starts, when everyone goes back to normal and actually goes in attendance, the YCAT routes, especially in the mornings, were basically full when they stopped in San Luis or they stopped in Yuma. And they were all mostly residents from San Luis. Most of them were students. So it's a very affordable way for our students to go to AWC and different. And it's one of those investments. I wish we had the money to run our own system, but it's very expensive. So, I thank YCAT, and I know, Ralph, you are part of the committee regarding YCAT. And so I thank you. And so I'm going to open the floor. Do you have any questions? Or do you have anyone from YCAT with us today?
No,
No? Okay.
other than Mr.
Okay,
Velez.
so any questions, concerns regarding YCAT?
Yes, why the potential increase? I mean, do we have a,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Charlie, thank you. Thank you for being on the phone. I just want to say thank you for what you do for us. And could you explain to us the increase of 17,000?
Probably the increase of the 17,000 is partly due to possible increase to the AWC campus on our Silver Route. And looking towards the future, we would definitely like to be able to increase service on the San Luis Circulator in the future. And due to our funding sources, we have to ask increase in member entity dues as well throughout the next few years to be able to match our federal funding to run service.
I know it's a
But
Charlie, I know it's a seesaw, basically trying to get the funding every year and make sure we provide services. And we discussed about possibly having YCAT services within the city as a possibility.
Correct.
And so we are still looking at that. But that's an increase, but still, it's one of those things where we need to provide YCAT services to our residents, especially especially kids going to college, and some of them are using it to go to jobs in Yuma. So
Correct. Correct.
I appreciate your service, and I appreciate you for running the buses through the pandemic. I know some of your drivers did get sick, and hopefully everyone came back okay. And I appreciate what you guys did.
Oh, thank you, and we appreciate San Luis. You're our largest ridership that is on our route, and we just want to continue the service that we provide and make it safe for everybody and our drivers as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Mario, was that good?
good enough?
Good, good. Any questions?
Well, I think it's a little bit too much, 17,000.
That's the cost, and compared to other communities, we pay a fraction compared to what Yuma pays, and Somerton also pays.
Okay.
And our highest number of people who use services are from San Luis. And actually, we probably should be paying more. Transit service is very expensive, and that's why a lot of communities don't have transit services, because it's the maintenance, the buses, the safety. We've been very fortunate, and the fares are very, very small compared to other communities. So maybe sometime we'll have enough money to run our own system, and that's going to get interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. So any questions or concerns?
I do have a question, Mayor. I know there was a communication sent out regarding the Medical Mall bus stop. Shelley, is that a possibility in the near future as that Medical Mall begins to be utilized more by our residents?
Shelley, there was a question by Councilmember Cabrera regarding having a bus stop at the Medical Mall that's going to the port of entry too. Has the owners or the medical mall talk to you about possibly having an area there? We lost her. Yeah.
She did mention AWC, but she didn't mention the medical mall. That's why I wanted to clarify if this 17,000 increase was part of that. Ralph, Tadeo, do you know anything? In the city?
It's inner city movement, and only then. Right now, there is no.
There is
one-way.
nothing.
No.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, we are in the process of approving the short-range transportation plan. The east side of San Luis was not part of that plan. So last month, we had a board meeting, and I seriously criticized the consultants for not addressing the industrial growth, the residential growth, and the medical mall. Their response was that the previous consultant recommended that a route was not feasible for East San Luis. And so I asked them, well, why didn't you mention that in the study? Because if it's not feasible, and people read the study, they're going to think you totally neglected the east side of San Luis with the growth.
Yeah.
So because of that and their cash flow analysis, which was totally wrong, we denied approving, we didn't approve the study. So they're going to come back, and I'm curious to see what they're going to include as regarding the east side route. Now, we are number one. The yellow route in San Luis is the number one route in the system. And this study is going to make some changes, and that's part of, Shelley should have, hopefully, I thought she was going to expand more on why the big change. But there's some routes that are literally making the system broke. And so they're not feasible, they're not economically feasible, so we're going to do away with the routes and start mixing some routes. And the yellow route is going to extend over to 4th Avenue in downtown San Luis, downtown Yuma, so they can then transfer back to the college. So I don't know what's going to become of that study, whether they're going to recommend a route or not, and if they don't, then the plan B should be that we should have our own commuter system to and from the east side, to bring folks from the east side over to downtown San Luis, so they can then do the yellow route. And that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
Because the way the system is set up, there's no connectivity between the east side and 195, which would be the best route. So if you take the 185, you're going to end up on Araby Road. And that's a straight shot to the college. Now, they can do 195, go Avenue B, and drop off at the Cocopah Resort, at the casino, which is another pickup point. So you may not have that mass to justify that route.
Yeah. No, you don't. One of the things that the medical mall people should do is actually contact the YCAT directly from them.
No, we did.
They
Tadeo did, and then I followed up with an email to Shelley.
Okay.
She said, wait for the study. So we had our Zoom last week, and this what evolved during the meeting. So it wasn't part of the mix, the equation, and east side route.
Well, if I were the owner of the medical mall, I would be investing in a way to bring customers to them. And I already told them. And we cannot depend. I mean, you've invested $36 million on something. You should be thinking of ways to get your patients there. And because it gets expensive, $12. One person got $12 to go there and $12 to come back.
If they invest in a shuttle route, and of course, the city would have to get involved somehow, and have this shuttle back and forth to the east side, I think it would work. It's going to cost some money, but at least you're going to end up providing a service.
Yeah, but that's private industry, so there's only limitations we can do. We can facilitate, but private industry should actually be doing most of the investment. So, no, they've been told. And when they were here doing the video, I said, what's going to happen with the shuttle system? You need, in order for the medical mall to work right now, you need to have a shuttle system. And the city cannot be providing a shuttle system for you. And yeah. Yeah, Walmart did for the first couple of years, they had a shuttle system, they went to the border and came back. And so it's a survival mode, and right now specifically, if the medical wants to succeed, they need to provide shuttle services for our customers, and it should be free for patients. And so it's something they need to look at. You know, thank you.
If I may add, just Mr. Mandager, we did reach out to the city that they were willing to build a shaded structure if White added a stop. And that's where Board Member Velez is saying that, you know, the actual, for the bus to stop there, I mean, it's for the new study to say, but the Regional Center for Border Health did reach out after the video, and I sent an email, then Mr. Velez forwarded the follow-up on the same email, so they did reach out in that regard.
Yeah.
As far as how it gets added, hopefully the new study will either show that or not.
Shelley, I have a question for you. Will the new study talk about the east side of San Luis at all?
I think she logged out.
Well, we had discussions about that at the board meeting last week, and our consultants didn't really consider the San Luis study in our short-range transit plan, so we made them go back and take a look at it again. So I'm waiting for the new document to see what they have to say about that.
Okay.
I know there was discussion about funding and whether it was going to be feasible to do it.
Yeah.
But I think they need to go back and take a look at the growth of San Luis and the medical mall and everything else involved, because that San Luis circular study was done several years ago.
Yeah.
Things have changed considerably since then.
Yeah, the
So I'm
population.
kind of with,
Yeah, the population of the east side actually doubled in probably 3 years. And so
Yeah.
it's made a big difference. So, yeah, hopefully the consultants will take that into consideration, especially with the medical mall, and they've invested over $35 million in that. So if possible, let's make sure that they are aware of that. So thank you, Ralph. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chelly. And so, any more questions, concerns?
No, thank you, Shelley. And then also consider we're getting the park over there as well, so it's gonna continue growing.
Yeah, yeah. So we're good with the 60,000? Actually, no, it's actually 88,216. Please keep us informed, Shelley. Thank you.
yes, I will, thank you. And I do plan on coming to San Luis in the next few months and do a presentation for the city council.
I think,
Just kind of keep everybody updated on the services that we're providing and what we're looking at in the future.
yeah, Shelley, one of the things that's key is we need to see the numbers. I mean, of the number of residents and what percentage actually use the White Cat and the services you're providing our local community. I think it's important that the public know how many of us are actually using the White Cat. So if you can come and present, then I would really appreciate that information.
Absolutely, will do.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and go with the newspapers publications. That's a standard fee, $25,000. That happens every year. And now we have JCG Technologies.
Our council chambers system.
So there is a $6,462 a budget for 2021, and this year they're asking for the same amount. Is that enough?
Derek?
I know Derek's over there. Yeah, Derek.
JCG Technologies.
JCG Technologies. You're requesting 6,000. Is that enough? I thought we were getting a new system, or we already did.
We already did. The reason that we budget that amount is in case we need to do any fixing. Like in this case, we might contact them to for their services.
Okay, I just want to make sure. You're on it. Hey, gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to the IT department. I really appreciate what you guys do. Any questions on that one? No. No. Okay, we're gonna go with Amberley's Place. The budgeted amount is 42,000, and recommended budget amount is 42,000, has not changed. Do we have a representative from Amberley's, please? Thank you for coming.
Mayor and Council, my name is Tori Borganon. I'm the new Executive Director at Amberley's Place. I started May the 3rd.
Congratulations.
So I appreciate the time tonight to stand before you. Our request this year remained the same. We do due diligence in order to keep our costs low. But I'm super excited to share with you that we have a new crisis response advocate in Jojo Rojas, and she's a resident of the city of San Luis and is super proud to be the crisis response advocate in her community. Not only that, but Jojo is one of 4 of our crisis response advocates that recently received their master's in social work as of about 3 weeks ago. So we're super excited that we not only bring to the table a young lady who's native to this community, but certainly a very well-educated and incredibly professional, excited, ambitious young lady that's doing some really amazing work here. So thank you for welcoming her. Our calls for service are on the rise. School is back in session. I know that we're breaking for summer, but in that short interim time where school went back into session, you can imagine what happened to our child abuse case reports. They started to increase dramatically, so we have been incredibly busy. In addition to that, domestic violence calls are up this month as well. That $42,000 is incredibly important to us. Not only does it help with our crisis response advocate, but also the car that we provide in order to transport victims back and forth. We also put a computer in the police department office that allows us to do orders of protection from the location of that office so that we don't always have to go to court, and it saves people time. So we do what we can to make the best use of those funds, and we certainly appreciate and are very proud of our partnership with San Luis and look forward to continuing that this year. What questions might I answer for any of you?
I just want to say a quick comment. I just want to say thank you, Amberley's Place, for being here. We've been partners for a very long time, and as you mentioned, our numbers of child abuse or spousal abuse have gone up, and Amberley's Place has been a resource for the victims, and especially for the San Luis area, and really appreciate what you guys do. The advocates, excellent news, local girl with a master's in social work, and that's great. That's thank you for bringing that advocate here, and I just want to make sure that people understand that the numbers have increased, and you've always been there 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. And I just thank you for your services. I really do.
One thing that I would like the council to know is that, simply because you may stop by the police department and you don't find JoJo in the office or Clarissa in the office, I want you to understand that very often they're working alongside Chief Jessup's officers on scene. Yeah. We have a 24/7 response team, so she possibly is in court responding to a call. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why you wouldn't find her sitting behind a computer at her desk. And so by all means, if there's anything that we can do to continue to develop capacity to serve this community, please understand that we are absolutely on board and completely invested in doing so.
Thank you for those comments. Any questions from council?
No.
Mayor?
You're good to go. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Just a quick comment for Tori. I know I sent her an email just to welcome her, but it's nice to see her in person. She was my high school counselor when she was 12, of course, but I've known her ever since.
Oh,
she's
wow.
great. So. I said you were 12.
Thank you, Tadeo. Thank you, Tadeo. Now we have the GYEDC binational and forefronted. The amount budgeted was $7,598. The increase was $343. Now we're looking at $7,941. Do we have a representative from forefronted?
Yes, on Zoom.
Hello, Mayor. This is Nasser.
Nasser, always nice to hear from you. Thank you. I see you're very active trying to do the different meetings on Zoom, and It's always about bringing businesses, and the city of San Luis has always been trying different ways to bring businesses to our area, especially to work with our counterparts in Mexico, to work with our counterparts in Imperial Valley, and now I know Forefronted is gathered attention from Hermosillo, from different areas that are interested, and we always talk about a mega region, and we're doing our little niche here at Forefronted ED. And Nasser, I know you continuously work. Thank you for the emails, and tell us what's been going on.
First, mayor, vice mayor, council members, and all the team members of the city of San Luis, thank you for the invitation, for having me here. It's always great to see you. In this particular case, Mayor, we can see an increase that we propose to the city of San Luis, about $343, because it's part of the Forefront Intergovernmental Agreement that specifies that each year the amount from every entity is increased based on population. So the data has been updated, the population, the numbers have been updated. So that's the reason that this part of the agenda, this item. On the other hand, we were working very hard with our counterparts in Mexico to promote the binational mega region as one piece of one economic bloc. And we have worked a lot of virtually because of the pandemic, and we're planning once the in-person events allow us, it is suitable to do that, start again making events, organizing events, in conjunction with other entities such as the Greater Yuma Port Authority, Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation, our friends in OPRODE, Mexicali EDC, Imperial Valley EDC, and other entities and persons that work and collaborate with the Forefront ED. And it's always good to collaborate with your team members. They are really good. And they help me a lot with information, with ideas, brainstorming, and we have a lot of plans for the coming months.
Thank you. One of the things that Forefronted does for the region is basically the Forefronted ED does a lot of networking and talking with different agencies in Mexico, private industry in Mexico, also with Mexicali. We know that Baja California is just growing, and it's most of California goes through most of Baja California goes through California and then comes to Arizona. So what we're trying to do is work as a team and actually promote the area to include Mexicali, to include Puerto Peñasco wants to be part of it now, El Golfo, San Luis de Colorado. We're looking at the different Sonoita, as Camcaborca. I believe we've had previously interest in trying to be part of the Forefronted cause. And so it's something that it's a little bit more, and it involves more private industry across the line and also in California. And this is our link to California, to Imperial Valley, to the different investors in that area. And so thank you, Nasser, for the hard work you do.
You're welcome.
Any questions from council? It's just a lot of Zoom meetings right now, but hopefully I just want to, we should have another workshop in regards to the importance of education. I know we're working with education. We're working with the different universities in Mexico, doing dual degrees here in the U.S. and then also doing it in Mexico. So we're not only looking at the economic, but we're also looking at the future scientists, the future workforce for our community in both sides. And the contacts we've made over the years in regards to studying in Mexicali, for example, a student from the U.S. Finishing their studies in Mexicali or San Luis de Colorado at the different universities, gives them a broad spectrum of not only the U.S. ways of doing things, but also Mexico's ways of economic development, promotion of different businesses, international commerce. So it's a lot of work, but we have good people. The Yuma County is really stepped it up a notch, and I really appreciate that. City of Yuma has always been very, very active. City of Somerton has been very active, and also the city of Welton, and of course, the city of San Luis. So thank you, Nasser.
You're welcome, Mayor. I would like to add that I'm very glad that Yuma County has a new leader, not only in economic development, but also the leader for the education committee that you mentioned. That is important that we have a new leader in that area. We have a lot of opportunities in that sector, the education, in a binational way with bilingual component and bicultural. That is always important to highlight. We have, Mayor, around 41 universities located in our 440 binational mega region. Most of them, you know, are located in Mexicali. 8 of them are in San Luis Rio, Colorado, and we have 3 in Yuma County. But this is a big opportunity to make an exchange of teachers, students, and start working in that field.
Yeah. No, thank you, sir. One of the things I want to mention is that vocational training to our high school students is very important. It's something that's been lacking for many, many, many years. So that's one thing that Mexico does, India does, all the different is vocational training during high school. So by the time they finish high school, they have a trade. And it's something that I know AWC is trying to look into it. I believe they already have a pilot program. And so if we can introduce technical studies or if we can show them a trade when they finish high school, they'll have a way to work. We need the workforce. We need a strong workforce. A trade like that in high school will actually prepare our students to actually work in the workforce. Right now, when they graduate, where are they going to work at? So if we can do vocational training for those people who don't want to go to the universities but want to be a plumber, wants to be an AC tech, wants to do something like that, construction, have them have the technical services that are provided in Mexico, for example, from the different universities, but introduced to them in high school and reinforced in junior college like AWC. So that's something we're really looking into, vocational training for our students, for those who don't want to continue, but actually provide those services here in the city of San Luis. So that's what we're doing. I know. Thank you, Nasser. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Thank you. Kenzie Manet Food Ministry, $5,000 was budgeted. Now it's $5,000. I just want to say, Pastor Castro, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for the food services, the dispensas you do, almost monthly now. Thank you for the hard work you did through the pandemic. That proof enough what you've done. I mean, 5,000 is minimal for the amount you do for our community on a daily basis, and I really appreciate especially the food services. Pastor Castro, muy agradecido por todo lo que hace, de veras, y no para, lo veo que no para. Y entonces es un orgullo de la ciudad de San Luis, Arizona, de ser parte, miembros y un equipo trabajando juntos para esto. Gracias, señor Pastor.
Honorable Concilio y Honorable Mayor, muchas gracias esta oportunidad para expresarles a ustedes, ¿verdad? Me siento muy afortunado de tener el apoyo de la ciudad, de tener el apoyo del Departamento de Policía. En la ciudad de San Luis, Arizona, podemos decir que no hay hambre. Y quien tiene hambre es porque no quiere salir a recibirla. A este punto, a este momento, desde que empezó la pandemia, hemos celebrado en esta ciudad más de 15 drive-thrus, más de 15. Hemos distribuido muchísima comida. El sábado antepasado, por la acumulación de 3 troques de 13 maíces de comida, tuvimos que organizar un drive-thru sin límite de cajas de comida. Las familias podían llevar para ellos, para otros familiares, incluso para familiares en México, y había libertad de llevar, y con un marcador de chinola para los zapatos blanca, poníamos en el vidrio cuántas cajas pueden usar, y había familias que llevaban 5, 7, 8, hasta 10 cajas, porque era demasiado lo que se nos acumuló. Y yo quiero darle las gracias porque esta última donación que recibimos de $5,000, pudimos adquirir una caja seca, una caja de 53 pies, porque las compañías que nos donan chips, Frito-Lay y otras compañías de chips, no nos querían donar en cajas refrigeradas porque son un poco más chicas y las pallets de chips no caben. Tienen que quitarle una cama y ellos no quieren hacer ese trabajo. Entonces dicen, si no traes caja seca, no te cargamos. Entonces estuvimos pidiéndole a Dios que nos ayudara y obtuvimos una buena oferta. Todas las cajas estaban en 12,000, 15,000, 8,000 y Dios abrió puertas y pudimos conseguir una por 7,000, por 6,000. Así es de que muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Estamos distribuyendo más de 500,000 de libras de comida cada mes, más de 500,000. Así es de que en realidad todas las aportaciones y donaciones que la ciudad nos hace se ve reflejado en la ayuda que le estamos dando a nuestra comunidad, y en los drive-thrus no estamos pidiendo absolutamente nada de donación, es totalmente gratis. Así de que la ciudad está siendo bendecida y esos $5,000 pues sin duda que son de mucha ayuda, ¿verdad? Y si quieren ponerle otro poquito, pues gloria a Dios, ¿verdad? No, muchas gracias. Un abrazote para cada uno de ustedes y siempre están en nuestras oraciones cada uno de ustedes, ¿ok? Siempre estamos orando que Dios los bendiga, los ayude, les dé gracia, sabiduría para dirigir los destinos de esta bonita ciudad. Muchas gracias.
Pues nos acabamos de ahorrar 7,000 en una. Yo creo que, pastor, le podemos dar otros $2,000. Si pueden, pero si el council lo aprueba.
Claro que sí, pastor. Para el pastor, lo que sea. Yo quiero hacer un comentario, pastor. Yo sé que yo lo miro día con día porque ahí soy su vecina y yo miro todo el esfuerzo y todo el cariño que usted hace y todo el esfuerzo que hace por ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Gracias de mil gracias, muchas bendiciones, pastor, porque nos ayuda bastante en nuestra comunidad.
Thank you.
¿Qué puedo decir yo, pastor? Yo he sido testigo de lo que dijo el pastor. He sido participante con él, le he ayudado. Desgraciadamente yo tengo como 2 semanas que no voy por causas de salud, pero pastor, es un honor tenerlo en nuestra comunidad y muchas gracias. Que Dios nos siga.
Está publicado en el Facebook que mañana tenemos otro drive-thru, mañana.
Gracias, pastor.
Gracias, pastor.
Gracias, pastor.
Now we're going to go with the council sponsorship pledges. The Yuma Community Food Bank. Do we have a representative? No, is someone online for the Yuma Food Bank?
No, there's no one. We
Okay.
provided them with 25.
Yeah, the Yuma Food Bank provides a lot of services, especially food for our community, especially our seniors. That's one. I believe we're the only entity that actually provides money directly to them. I don't know if Yuma started doing that, but we have always been the only entity to actually provide funding for the Yuma Food Bank, and it's a big impact. And a lot of the people who use the food bank actually are from San Luis. So we're getting multiple helps from different agencies. And the food bank actually helps a lot, especially our senior centers. So it's a small investment. Twice a month.
Twice a month.
Twice a month. Yeah, that's part of the agreement. They come here to our community twice a month and dispense food. And not only for here, but whole Yuma County. And they've been very fortunate because the city of San Luis has always supported, and actually we were, for many years, the only agency that actually provided money to them directly. And it's all about the need, it's all about the services and accountability also. We want to make sure that the numbers reflect that we can't just give them money. They need to reflect the numbers, or the number of residents from the city of San Luis actually go and use the services. And for many years, it has been growing. And so we're just very fortunate. We have multiple agencies that actually provide that service for our community. Any concerns on the food bank?
No, just maybe we should share the dates when they come. That way our residents know when they can take advantage of the community food bank instead of driving to Yuma.
Yeah, And they know when there's a huge line that occurs because some of the residents really know, but it's very important, yeah. And this is for San Luis residents only. Okay. So, let's see here, there was a Yuma Community Food Bank Snack Pack Program Youth Center.
They're not doing that anymore. We just have it on the record that last year we did not budget anything. This year they did not request any additional for that program. So most likely, unless they requested for next fiscal year, that won't be appearing on this list.
Okay, so none of them, okay, good. The Freedom Newspaper of Southwest Arizona, I believe this is also one of those fees that we pay.
It's our newspaper, yearly subscription for the city.
Civic donations, the total civic donations is 22,000. We kept it for how many years now? Civic donations is when, for example, a group of individuals, for example, the swimmers from the high school or the baseball team from the high school, need additional fundings or assistance to go to different tournaments, for example. We helped a young girl go to Korea, I believe, and for a tournament, international tournament. And she did very well, and she was a resident. You must be a resident of the city of San Luis. Also, when we do that, the Yepes Cancer Walk gets supported through them. Different organizations that we normally don't hear about, but there is a need. There's a certain amount we can give them, but this is how we make sure that we have money aside, especially if the kids, for example, have no ways. A lot of the high school students actually use this. They're traveling and they have no traveling expenses, and we aid them. But one of the requirements is they have to show us what they did and what they have accomplished. And we've had very good, talented individuals, especially in the sport arena, especially soccer players, young soccer players that want to go to a tournament. And this is how the city can help them. We can't pay for everything, but we do offer a small stipend for them to go, and it makes their job much easier. Especially the swimmers, I believe they're going to be doing some fundraising for the swimmers, and hopefully we can eventually get a pool built, so we can actually have our swimmers actually practice here. And our swimming pool is very small, so hey, it's only a wish. It's only a wish, not a promise. We're going to have a 20-acre facility. We're going to have exactly, so no, trust me. They don't know. It's little things that we do for. And 22,000, how much did we use last year of it?
I don't have that amount in front of me, but
I know there, but we probably used half of it.
at least.
Yeah, we didn't do that, so. No, we continue. That's 22,000. Any questions, concerns regarding that amount? No? Okay, if not, we're going to do with Comic-Con. We budgeted, last year was 5,000. This year's request is 5,000. Comic-Con occurs here in San Luis, and it's been a hit every year. And because of COVID, I know there were some delays, but we still want Comic-Con to occur here in San Luis. They tried it in Yuma. I know Yuma has wanted it, but I think San Luis is a better place.
Did they hold it last year with COVID, or did they do virtual?
No, they did virtual. They did
Virtual. We have the representative online, Mr. Carrillo.
Mr. Carrillo, tell us, ¿qué pasó este año, last year?
It's, well, we've been, como se dice en español, contra viento y marea. We've been against all odds because of the pandemic and, working virtually. But we made it through. First with the festival in November, we did a virtual and a drive-in, which in my view was a success. And we brought an actress from Mexico City, and she's been telling all her friends that the best festival that she has attended is San Luis Film Festival. So I'm really glad that people from Mexico City are talking about us, and they're talking about us in a positive manner, which is the goal of what I try to do for my community. But you got me into the conversation, and first I wanted to thank you for your support. I wanted to thank Vice Mayor Carrasco and all your council members, Tadeo and Mrs. McQuill and everyone, and especially your Parks and Recreation staff. Louis Galaviz in particular and his staff. They have always been supportive. If I need a cable, they find it for me. If I need walkie-talkies, they find them for me. So that's really supportive, and I really like working with them and trying to maintain these events here in San Luis. And as you can see in my background, the film festival is going to be 10 years this year. And we're so glad, and we've been meeting for the past 3 months. And you asked me about Comic-Con. Comic-Con came after the festival, okay? So that by that time, we had already a lot of experience, and I'm just using quotes here, because of the pandemic. So what we did, we tried to minimize the contact of the people by doing a drive-in Comic-Con. So we had some vendors. We had a huge dinosaur, like 7 or 10 feet tall. And we had a movie, and we had raffles, and we had a cosplay, which is the customs that they use to come to these events. And we gave prizes to the participants. So that's how we maintained that connection with the fans. And right now in the Facebook page, we have about 2,000 followers, plus the other 2,000, whatever they do there. So it's about 4,000. And the same goes with the San Luis Film Festival. We have about 2,000 followers, which are always looking at what we post for the community. We try to do a little social service there. So we retweet whatever the mayor posts and, about COVID and, things that are happening in the community. So with that in mind, I wanted to just thank all of you, but I wanted to ask you, I don't know if this is the time, but because of the celebration of the 10 years of the film festival, we have it had in San Luis more than 40 actors and directors visit us throughout these 10 years. And we are trying to invite them all to come in November to San Luis, Arizona. I've been kind of doing my numbers, and that's an increase to my request. I don't know if this is the time to ask for this, although we're also looking for additional sponsorships, but that's one of the most difficult things that I have faced throughout these 10 years. So if you have any other questions, sir.
What kind of budget, this is Mayor Sanchez, Mr. Carrillo, what kind of budget are we looking at? Because 40 actors, it's a chunk of money. And,
right, a lot.
And,
so, yeah, let me, I kind of put together inviting about 10 guests and then inviting about 20 guests. Hotel reservations, flights, meals for the guests, and we want to give them like a $30, $40 trophy in commemoration of the 10th anniversary. And I've been talking to Louis, I don't know if he's in the hall, but we wanted to put together a community dinner taco extravaganza on the last day. And my total for that, about 10 people, is about $6,000. That would be the additional. For 20, you double it up.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wish I can say, yes, let's give it to you, but I think if we see the efforts that the film festival is doing, I think we can match those efforts. It's very important. I know it's hard to do fundraisers, but we asked all agencies to do fundraisers, so I think we can match. If you put that effort and if you can get funding, I think we should help you in that aspect. But It's very important that the film festival is growing, and it's very important that that you show that you have been going out looking for sponsors, and And definitely, the city is more than willing to help you, but we need to see also, because it's pretty ambitious. I can't, I mean, you've done a lot of work, and the film festival every year has been growing, but definitely show us the effort in regards to the fundraiser, and I think we could work with that.
Mr. Mayor, the film festival, we have never charged. Perhaps this is a time where we can look out for donations from the community. And I didn't want to get to that because,
No one does. No one does. Yeah, no one does, exactly. But I mean, we always talk about the 4th of July celebration as a possible option also. But it's very important. And because we already give, between Comic-Con and we already give $10,000. And so.
I do understand.
Yeah.
And I still, thank you for the support. This is great. And like you said, we're going to try to find additional sponsorships, and we'll try to do our best.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mr. Carrillo, you always do. Any questions, concerns from council?
No, Mr. Carrillo, this is Councilmember Ponce. Well, Mr. Carrillo, you got my phone number. If you ever need anything, call me. Do you hear me?
No, it's very hard. No, it's because I believe this is the only mic
okay.
that's suddenly working. Mr. Ponce says that you have his number, and if you need anything, just give him a call.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, Mr. Carrillo, thank you for the hard work, and thank your Comic-Con group and organizers, and also for the San Luis Film Festival. Continue doing the great work, okay?
Thank you all. You have a good night.
All right. Comic-Con. Marching band, we have not received anything from the marching band?
For the last 3 years, no, we have not.
Okay. Now with the Off-Road Expo, it's 10,000. Do we have a representative from the Off-Road Expo?
We do online.
Online?
Lisette?
Lisette?
Yes.
Tell
Hi,
us-
Mayor. Yes, here's Lisette. Hi, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Thank you so much for the opportunity to bring this event again to the community, the much expected and wanted event in the community. We're so happy preparing for the event. In fact, right now we're having a committee meeting. That's why we're not able to be there present. But we're here, we're working day by day, and I'm here for any questions.
So when is the tentative date for the expo?
October 23rd, Saturday, October 23rd.
October 23rd. Do you know if San Luis Colorado is having an event that day? It appears you're always in competition.
Yes, we've been checking. Yeah, we've been checking, monitoring all the events around the community. In fact, in Yuma too, all around Yuma County. As of right now, we do not know of any events around that date. I know Bridget's Gift is usually on the same weekend, but we haven't heard anything from them. And as of right now, we're the only ones having an event on October 23rd, as of right now, that we know of.
Yeah, the Off-Road Expo was missed last year, and I know it generates a lot of interest, especially from out-of-towners, actually people from out of town. The Road Expo has been a success for the city of San Luis, and you've had the contacts, you've had the right people, and hopefully this year it is happening live, so people can actually come. So it's a much missed Off-Road Expo that a lot of people look forward every year. So it's 10,000. Any questions, concerns from council? So yeah, the expo is one of the few events that are going to occur this year, and very glad they are. So thank you, Lisette. Thank you. And just keep us informed, okay?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the Arizona Interagency Farm Workers Coalition. Bernie Quiroz.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for the invitation. Always great. I feel like this is my adopted city. I think I'm in San Luis more often than I am in Yuma. But one of the things I'm thankful, one of the things that you guys do is the scholarship. As you guys know, the pandemic last year we were able to award over $22,000 in scholarship, but 10 of those individuals, we gave 20 scholarships, but 10 of those individuals were all from San Luis, and we gave a total of almost 8,000 total to city students of San Luis. 3 of them were also where we provided also graduation portraits, where some of these individuals, as you know, they don't have the funds to do that. So we actually had a farmer, John Densmore, said, Fernie, what can I do? So we got 3, and they showed up with families, and they were photographed out in the fields. I think I provided some photos to you guys, but I'll send them again. Great opportunity. And 100% of that $3,000 that you guys donate goes to students that go. We're awarding 8 students this year, and 5 are from the city of San Luis. So San Luis will be getting a total of about $6,200 total. $3,000 definitely is from your part. So once again, I'm always happy to be here, the friendly faces, and love being in my adopted city here. So,
Bernie, always welcome, and I really appreciate what your agency is doing. I really do, because it really does make a difference, especially if you have low, for example, good student, A student, but you don't have the fundings, and you think about you want to go to a 4-year university, and every single cent helps, because prices are going up. I mean, a 4-year university, $80,000, that's what's going out. ASU, for example, $80,000, that's what's costing you to go to a 4-year university right now. That's a lot of money.
it is.
And the thing is, what your agency is doing, the farm workers, their children, and continue that high spirit, it's very important. So Fernie, thank you.
And this city should be proud that this high school is doing an amazing job. You got kids that are going to Harvard, MIT, Yale. I mean, it is just amazing what these counselors are doing. So to be a part of it, and coming from una familia de migrantes, and what you guys do, that little bit that counts, that gesture of that scholarship, believe me, it makes a big difference for one of those kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Fernie. Any questions, concerns for Fernie? No? So we continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernie.
Now, there was Yuma Regional Cancer Center. Originally, it was budgeted for $5,000. And one of the questions that I asked was, what's the status of it? Because last year, they didn't use that money. Well, we did receive a formal letter that they will not be using that money this year. This came directly from Valerie Harvey. But very few agencies actually say we don't want the money, and this is one of them. But the thing is, a couple of the members asked me if the city was helping them with their pageant this year. So there's a little bit of controversy here of what's going on. We have here the director that's saying that they don't need the money, and I have members saying, what's going to happen? Do we have the funding? Do we have the support from the city of San Luis? It's something that they need to work on. We know that previous year they did not use that money, so the money's still there, $5,000. So I got mixed signals. So when I called Tadeo, and I believe Marlene got the email, I'm like, wait a minute here. There is $5,000 available for this pageant, and they use every year. Cancer survivors have a little pageant that they dress up and they celebrate life. And this is basically for residents for this area, for the city of San Luis, and especially the Hispanic support group for our community. And I think it's very important. So I think there's mixed signals going on here, and no sé how you feel, but I want to keep those $5,000 just in case they do need it. But even though their agency says no lo necesitan, pero it's something that they're going to have to deal with the membership. So no sé cómo se sientan ustedes. I don't know how you feel. I mean, I want to leave it there. And the thing is, just in case they do have that pageant, and I even offered, we have the culture center. because they couldn't find an affordable place to actually do it because they didn't do any fundraisers. The year prior, they were selling tacos, they were selling at different softball games to support them. So the city of San Luis went ahead and actually, there was venues where they came, cancer survivors, and actually they donated their time and they sold and they made money for that yearly event that we have. And so, no sé, I would rather keep it, and if they don't use it, they don't use it. And because I want them to have an option. I don't want them to say it's because of lack of funding that they didn't have this event. And these are local cancer survivors. And it's a beautiful event. And so if they can have it here in San Luis, more power to them. De veras. We'll invite people from Welton, we'll invite people from Yuma, and they can come here. So my invitation stands, and so I would want to keep that money. Are there any objections to that?
There's just a line item on there.
They didn't use it at all last year then?
They didn't use it at all because of the pandemic.
Probably COVID, that's what.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, we should keep it, and if they don't use it again this year, then we can just remove it next year.
Yeah, exactly, so, makes you, okay, good, so we keep it.
Okay.
Hey, Fernie, you know.
If not for any, 5,000 for
want
scholarships.
Some of it.
We can do 2,000 more for Fernie.
Wait, we can give to Fernie.
Fernie, would you take 2,000?
Yeah. There you go.
I was waiting, guys. Okay, porque this is, then they, Fernie, you got 2,000 more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're reducing that one, or we're
So we're
adding?
cutting 2,000 from Fernie?
No,
or-
we're not deducing any 5,000 from the, but we're adding.
We're adding
We're adding
2,000.
2,000 to Fernie, to his organization. Bring us pictures, Fernie. Show us the happy faces of our graduates. Okay? De veras. Thank you. Now we're going to go with dues for subscriptions. Arizona-Mexico Commission. The dues is 1,500. Being part of the Arizona-Mexico Commission is probably the most influential entity that has influenced our port of entry. It was through the Arizona-Mexico Commission that we were able to do a lot of networking. And the last official event in Phoenix that was done regarding the Arizona-Mexico Commission, the number one item on the agenda was Port of Entry 1 in the city of San Luis. And so we're talking governor, we're talking about state reps, we're talking about senators from different areas supporting that areas. We were able to get everyone on board, our congressional delegation during the Arizona-Mexico Commission, and talk about Port of Entry 1. That is virtually impossible to do, but we did it. And so, and we still have the support of every member, every congressional member, including Republicans and Democrats, for the support of Port of Entry 1. And so the Arizona-Mexico Commission, along with the governor, both governors from Sonora and also Arizona, they're very strong in supporting the Arizona-Mexico Commission, so we need to be part of it. $1,500 is not a lot of money to what we were able to do with the aid of the Arizona-Mexico Commission. So they know where San Luis is now. Okay, we're not a small town. We make noise, and they're aware of that. And so I just want to say that regarding our Arizona-Mexico Commission. Do we have a member or someone from the, no?
This is just our regular dues that
These
we
are
pay.
your
We
subscriptions.
don't have any rep.
So, any questions, concerns? No? The Arizona League of Cities and Towns, okay, Border Trade Alliance, I'm sorry, we skipped that one, is 10,000. One of the agencies or alliances that actually are promoting the port of entries to reopen the ports is the Border Trade Alliance. Border Trade Alliance has representatives from Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. I believe that's right. And Canada. They deal directly with issues. They lobby our congressional delegation, not only them, but different, to promote economic development in our ports, especially in Texas, especially in Arizona, and California. And so we need to be, I know it's $10,000, but if we're not part of the solution, then we're gonna have a lot of problem because they're gonna be talking about Texas. Not only do they talk about Texas, but they also talk about Arizona. And the thing is, it's not about Nogales also. Nogales is the biggest port for now. But we pass more private vehicles, we pass more pedestrians than Nogales. And we only have 7 lanes, and they're not open all the time. And so we're gonna become part of a big impact once those 14, 16 lanes get developed, and it's gonna happen within 2 years. And so being part of the Border Trade Alliance is very important. Any questions, concerns?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Been there, done that, and it's another tool that we need for our arsenal.
Yeah.
What's the membership right now on that? Is it still 1 plus 1 only now, right? 1 plus the gas, right?
Now we have the Arizona League of Cities and Towns. Our dues is $22,000. It increased to $6,095. Arizona Leagues of Cities and Towns. It's we need to be part of. We are a municipality, and we need to be part and see what happens in our other communities. And when we have those meetings, we actually have them. It's good to hear from other mayors. It's good to hear from other council members of the same issues that they're having. Okay. And so I have no problem with the Arizona League of the Cities, and there's a slightly increase of $23,080. Any questions, concerns? No? Leo, I believe our membership is 700 and stays 700. I think half of the council members actually have gone to Naleo, and they hear they do a lot of reinforcement, positive reinforcement, and talk about different issues that are occurring in our communities. A lot of training. So it's $700 is a very small fee for what we get from Naleo. The National League of Cities and Towns, that's $849, and it increased 11,000. What was that? 1,111.
That's for let me see, the 2019 census population estimate increase per
Okay,
capita.
So it's based on population. Okay.
Better get more money with this per capita increases. I
Nice.
saw the email, so hopefully that if we're spending, we're gonna be getting. I mean,
Mayor, I just want to comment that the National League of Cities has been the best resource for this latest stimulus bill. They've really kept us up to date. It's been hard to find. I would say the Treasury guidelines are coming, they're coming, but they had the scoop before
Yeah.
the Treasury did.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Kay. So it jumped to 1,160. Any questions or concerns? No?
do with that.
Okay, the Chamber of Commerce. This is the San Luis Chamber of Commerce, or this is the Yuma Chamber of Commerce, or is this?
The county one, there's only one, I think.
The county is $660. I believe this is what, we had $1,500 for the local one last year, and we just did the same, but we have not received any requests.
But do we still have the local one? I thought they combined them.
We're hoping in the
Future that they
future,
come back.
someone will actually make it work. And so it's a good blanket or safety blanket to have, just in case our Chamber of Commerce locally wants to develop. I know there was rumors 2 years ago, and then, yeah. It's only $1,500 to keep there, just in case an active, actually, chamber is created.
Shows up.
Yeah, I spoke to Jenny on that matter a few weeks ago, and she mentioned that it was going to be there just in case it were to come up again, and he was trying to look for businesses to get it started again.
It's like the 8th time.
Yeah.
The last time they were here, we were trying to give him money, they wouldn't request.
They
it.
wouldn't, yeah, they
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
take the money, so. We used to fund them almost,
10
I
grand.
believe,
I remember that year was 10
10,000, and I asked the president then, are you sure you don't want any funding? And he said no. And that was the end of the King Chamber of Commerce after that.
We were pretty much saying, take it.
So, yeah, so 1,500 is just a safety blanket. The Sun, Yuma Sun, it's 340, there was a decrease.
Or it's one subscription.
Okay. The Yuma County Chamber, it's $660,
Correct.
and they have an office here.
They have a satellite office.
They have a satellite office here, so if people are interested, and we have been seeing, now that we're having ribbon cuttings, we have been seeing members of the Yuma County Chamber also here. I know they're very active in Somerton, and so we want them active here also. So it's only $660, so I think it's fine. Now, let's see here, what's this WAEDD?
That's the Western Arizona Economic Development District. They help out with economic development for La Paz, Mojave, and Yuma County. They work with GYDC and for Fronted, as well as all the tribes in, along those two counties. It's not it is 3,569 because we haven't paid for 2020, and this will include the 1,190 for this upcoming fiscal year and the next one. So when they're due,
So we haven't been paying our share?
no.
Okay. this
And
is-
they just reactivated it, and they're trying to revive it after COVID. Mr. Tony Reyes is the chairman, so we have good representation there, because the district goes all the way to Utah. Walton, Yuma, Somerton, and Yuma County are members of it. So are we, they haven't, been very active.
Okay, but now they will.
Yes,
And the chairman is Tony Reyes?
that is correct.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? No? Okay, and I believe that is it.
Yes.
First and foremost, I would like to thank all the agencies and everyone who came up today and talked about it. And thank you, Monica, for your budget. I know it's tough sometimes. And I just want to make sure, staff, thank you. Thank you for coming. And council members, bienvenidos para atrás. We're back in action. So thank you so much. And I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Have a good night. I'll see you next week. Gracias a todos. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.